Immerse yourself in the profound insights offered by Father Chuck Belmonte as he delves into daily reflections on various gospel passages from the Bible.
What should come first, nature or man? One of the most significant aspects of Magnifica Humanitas lies not only in what it says, but also in what has ceased to occupy the center of the Pope's discourse. After years in which ecological issues had become almost the overarching framework for interpreting social, economic, cultural, and even spiritual life, Leo XIV's first encyclical shifts the focus to another, more fundamental concern, the crisis of humanity. It is not that ecology is disappearing. The encyclical retains that concern about technology that has become an autonomous power, about an economy detached from all moral limits, and about a globalization capable of homogenizing people's desires and behaviors. But the symbolic focus has shifted. The encyclical is centered on the care of the human person. And that change is no small matter. The ultimate root of the problem no longer lies in humanity's relationship with the environment, but in humanity's understanding of itself. The ecological, economic, or technological crisis would be the consequence of a prior crisis, the obscuring of the truth about the human person. That is where the real shift lies. The encyclical does not begin by asking what humanity is doing to nature, but rather what humanity is doing to itself. It does not focus primarily on the damage caused to the planet, but on the danger of the human person being reduced to a piece of data, a function, an algorithm, an object of manipulation, or raw material available for technical redesign. This explains the tone of the document. Instead of the ecological vocabulary that sustainability, common home, climate debt, energy transition, biodiversity, environmental peripheries, Leo XIV returns to a language that is more directly anthropological and theological. Human nature, truth, limits, inner freedom, incarnation, Babel, grace, vulnerability, technocracy, transhumanism. The difference is not merely stylistic, it is doctrinal and pastoral. In recent years, Catholicism spoke of climate, sustainability, integral development, biodiversity, and ecological transition with such intensity that at times more distinctly Christian categories were pushed into the background. Sin, grace, truth, human nature, redemption, and eternal life were frequently displaced by a moral framework far more recognizable to global elites than to the Church's doctrinal tradition. Magnifica Humanitas appears to correct this drift without needing to state it explicitly. Leo XIV does not abandon concern for creation, but he ceases to make it the narrative axis of everything. The ecological issue is integrated into a broader reflection on man, technology, and civilization. Creation continues to have value, but the focus returns to the human creature, made in the image of God and called not to fabricate itself, but to receive, safeguard, and elevate its own nature. In the face of that promise, the Pope's response is not ecological, but Christological. Christianity affirms that God himself has entered history by taking on the human condition, not by despising it. The Church once again reminds us that there can be no true defense of creation unless we first defend humanity. And there can be no true defense of humanity if we forget that its greatness does not stem from technology, but from the fact that it was created in the image of God and called to a